Right now, the people who study global risk for a living are more worried than they've been in years. Their newest report says half of them expect the next 2 years to be turbulent, maybe stormy. Economic confrontation between nations. Armed conflict. Extreme weather straining power grids, roads, water systems that were never built to survive this much pressure. The cost of disasters keeps climbing year after year. None of that is a guess. It's this year's actual global risk forecast. But here's what almost nobody talks about. A man described this exact pattern in detail, 1400 years before any of it happened. Not the events, the pattern. And he didn't just describe it. He told us how to survive it. There's a hadith, a saying of the Prophet, recorded in Sunan Abi Dawud, that describes a time coming when riba, interest-based debt, becomes so widespread that even people who never directly take part in it still get touched by its dust. Read that again. Not some people will owe interest. A system so saturated with it, avoiding it completely, becomes almost impossible. Now look at the world's actual economic outlook for this year. The same global risk report opening this video points to mounting government debt, refinancing pressure, and inflation risk as some of the top dangers facing the global economy. Nearly every national economy on Earth is now financed on interest. Nearly every mortgage, every credit card, every car loan. This isn't a prediction about one country or one crisis. It's a description of the entire architecture. Most of us live inside without ever choosing to. There's another hadith, this one in Sunan an-Nasa'i, where the Prophet lists portents of the hour, and one of them is unusual. He doesn't say poverty, he says wealth will become widespread, trade will flourish, and knowledge, real understanding, meaning, purpose, will disappear. Abundance and emptiness arriving together. That's not a hard thing to recognize today. Global trade and markets have never moved faster or wider, and yet burnout, anxiety, and a quiet sense of meaninglessness are some of the most talked about struggles of the modern world, even among people who, by every material measure, are doing fine. The hadith isn't warning us that we'll be poor. It's warning us that we might be rich and still lost. Islamic teaching draws a sharp line here. Riba, interest, can make a number in an account grow, but it strips the wealth of barakah, of any lasting blessing in it. Charity does the opposite. The number goes down, but what it produces, trust, stability, a community that can survive hardship together, grows. This isn't a metaphor for people living through real economic pressure. It's a completely different definition of what rich means, not the size of the number, what the number is capable of doing for the people around you when things get hard. Practically, that means structuring your finances to avoid interest-based debt wherever you realistically can, because a highly leveraged, debt-dependent life is exactly the kind of fragile position this hadith is describing. It means treating charity as part of your financial plan, not an afterthought once you're secure. Because in this framework, giving is what actually builds security, at a community level, not just a personal one, and it means staying grounded in purpose, not just production. Because the hadith's warning was never really about poverty, but did this actually work in a real crisis? In the year 18 after the migration, a catastrophic drought hit Arabia. No rain for months. Livestock died. The ground turned so dark with dust, it looked like ash. Historians simply called it the Year of Ashes. People were digging up rodent burrows, grinding bones just to survive. This was the exact kind of systemic shock we're talking about, and it landed on Umar ibn al-Khattab, the second caliph, to respond. What he actually did reads less like ancient history and more like a modern crisis management playbook. First, he moved fast on supply. He wrote directly to his governors in Egypt, Syria, and Iraq, ordering grain shipments immediately. Convoys of loaded camels started arriving from every direction. One governor alone reportedly sent 1,000 camels of grain and corn. Second, he built public infrastructure for distribution, not charity by chance. He set up organized relief kitchens in Medina. By some accounts, as many as 40,000 people were fed every single day at the state's expense for as long as the crisis lasted. Third, he adjusted the rules to match the reality on the ground. He suspended the standard punishment for theft during the famine, reasoning that a starving person stealing food could not be judged by the same standard as ordinary crime. He also delayed the collection of zakat that year, easing the burden on people who were already struggling to survive. Fourth, and this is the part almost no modern leader replicates, he made himself live inside the crisis, not above it. Umar vowed to eat nothing but plain bread and oil for as long as the famine lasted. When he saw his own son eating a piece of melon, he confronted him, unwilling to let even his own family eat better than the people he was responsible for. And once the emergency passed, he didn't just move on. He ordered a canal dug, connecting the Nile to the Red Sea, specifically to make future grain shipments from Egypt faster and more reliable, turning a one-time emergency response into permanent infrastructure against the next crisis. He ordered a canal dug, connecting the Nile to the Red Sea, specifically to make future grain shipments from Egypt faster and more reliable, turning a one-time emergency response into permanent infrastructure against the next crisis. None of this is about predicting exactly when or how the world changes. It's about recognizing a pattern that was named before any of us were born, and realizing the response to it was named too. Not fear, just a way to stand steady while everything else moves. If this is the kind of history and the kind of clarity you want more of, subscribe, because this is only the beginning.